Hello everyone, how are you all today? This is Ashar Khan, your SST teacher from Shiv Jyoti Educational Group Kota. And students, today we will learn a new chapter of geography. Okay, so open your geography book in front of you on page number 30. That is 3030. Open your geography book on page number 30. That is chapter number 5, Major Domains of the Earth. Okay, we'll be learning about the domains of the earth. So first question that you have to ask yourself is, what does this word mean here? We all know what earth is, but what is domain? Well students, domain means territory or area. Okay, so we'll be talking about the different territories and areas of the earth. Okay, so please open your book on page number 30 so that we can begin the process of learning. So student, as you have read in the first chapter, the earth is the only planet which has life. We all know this, we live on our earth, right? And it is the only planet so far which has life. Human beings, that is us, can live here because the life sustaining elements that are land, water and air are present on the earth. Why is life possible on earth? Because here we have the life sustaining elements, that is land, water and air. You will not find much, you will not find all of them in some other planets that we have discovered or the planets in our solar system. That is why Earth is a very unique planet, because it can sustain life. People can live here, plants can grow here. Okay, so you should underline this line. First line, that is the Earth is the only planet which has life. Human beings can live here because the life sustaining elements of land, water and air are present on the earth. Underline this with your pencil. Okay, let's move on now. The surface of the earth is a complex zone in which three main components of the environment meet. We all know that our earth is divided into land, water and air, right? We call them life sustaining elements. Okay, in order for life to develop, in order to life to grow, you will require land, water and air. So in this chapter we'll be learning about the different parts of the earth, that is the land part, the water part and the air part. Okay, moving on. The solid portion of the earth on which we live is called the lithosphere. So what do we call the solid portion on which we live, जिस पे हम रहते हैं? That solid portion, the earth, there is a term for it that you are learning now, that is lithosphere. In lithosphere, lithosphere is basically all of land. इसमें क्या आ गई? सारी ज़मीन. Okay, whatever is on the surface of the earth and the inside. Okay, now the gaseous layer that surrounds the earth is the atmosphere. Now we have the gaseous air part, that is the air part, and it is called atmosphere. Okay, it has all gases and air. इसमें क्या है? सारी gases हैं, सारी हवा का जो part है हम उसको क्या बोलते हैं? Atmosphere. And that remains, हमारे पास क्या बचा अब? That is water, correct? And that water part of the earth is called the hydrosphere, which means all water. Okay, so these are the three main domains of the earth that we'll be learning, that is land, air and water, that is lithosphere, atmosphere and hydrosphere. There is one more sphere, but we will learn about it after we have covered these three topics, because then you can understand the fourth domain. Okay, so atmosphere is where oxygen, nitrogen, carbon dioxide and other gases are found. Now, we all know that water covers a very big area of the earth's surface, and this area is called the hydrosphere, that is all water part. It comprises of all the ocean, rivers, lakes and sea. Okay, now the fourth part, it is very important. What is the fourth part? It is when all of these three layers combine together, they form life, and that part is called biosphere. Okay, that means life. First, let us discuss more about lithosphere, then we will discuss other layers. Okay, now our first topic is lithosphere. So we'll get rid of these. I hope you are paying attention here. You have underlined all that I have said. Now, let's learn about lithosphere, that is the land part of the earth. Now, the solid portion of the earth is called the lithosphere. Please underline this line as well. What is lithosphere? If it comes to definition, if you are asked to define the definition of lithosphere, you will just simply say the solid portion of the earth is called the lithosphere. What does it comprise of? It comprises the rocks of the earth's crust and the thin layers of soil that contain nutrient elements which sustain organisms. Very good line here, that all the rocks, all the soil part is also comprised of lithosphere. Yeah? So even if you will dig our earth, what will you find? Lithosphere only, right? Because you will find soil, you will find rocks. Now there are two main divisions of the earth's surface. Our surface of the earth is divided into two parts, right? The large land masses are known as the continents. What are continents? Underline this. The large land masses means the big areas of land on which we live, right? Continents, you all know the name, Asia, Africa, and so on. And we also have huge water bodies, okay? Means bodies where a huge amount of water is collected. We call them ocean basins. All the oceans of the world are connected with one another. You can look at a map on the next page. You will be able to see all the continents as well as all the oceans. We will discuss this map in a minute. Okay. Now, this line is very important. The level of sea water remains the same everywhere. Okay. Elevation of land is measured from the level of the sea. For example, if this here is land, okay, and right until here we have sea. Okay, then this part of the land will be called sea level. Why? Because it is in level with the sea. You will be above the sea level. आपने देखा होगा in various station as well. This is written above the sea level. It tells you how much above you are from the earth's sea level. Now, elevation of land is measured from the level of the sea, which is taken at 0. Okay, above the sea level here. And what is the elevation of land here where sea is touching the earth? It is called 0. Okay. Now, let us see the map of the world where I will tell you all about the continents and the oceans. Now students, look here on this map. Now, you can see clearly where are the land masses. Land masses are the place where we live, right? We cannot live in the ocean basins because we will sink. So we live on the land masses, okay? So what we have done is, we have divided the land masses into different parts that are called continents, okay? So we have 7 continents, that is Asia, Europe, Africa, North America, South America, Australia, and the last one we have is Antarctica. So these are the land masses. How many land masses do we have? We have 7 land masses. Apart from that, we also have ocean basins, okay? Now, I'll just tell you where the ocean basins are. We will be covering ocean basins in much later. Now, see here, this part here and this part here is the Pacific Ocean. Okay, that is the Pacific Ocean. Then you have the Atlantic Ocean here. Okay, then we have the Indian Ocean, Arctic Ocean and Southern Ocean. We will be discussing these oceans in further detail as well. But for now, let's stick to our topic, that is continents. We are discussing lithosphere, correct? So children, on page number 32, start with the paragraph continents. See, we all know that we have seen that there are 7 major continents which are separated by large water bodies. The 7 continents we have already seen are Asia, Europe, Africa, North America, South America, Australia and Antarctica. Now let us discuss the continents one by one. So first we will start with Asia. Okay, read from your book as well. Asia is the largest continent. Okay, here you can see Asia is here. It is the largest continent we have. It covers about 1/3 of the total area of the earth. If we were to divide the total area of the earth, Asia will cover 1/3 of the total area. That's how much large it is. The continent lies in the eastern hemisphere, right? We draw a line here through Greenwich. This part is called the western hemisphere and this part is called the eastern hemisphere. As you can clearly see, Asia lies in the eastern hemisphere. Okay, then the Tropic of Cancer passes through this continent. Asia is separated from Europe by the Ural Mountains. Here Europe starts and Asia ends, and right here you will see a line of mountains that is called the Ural Mountains. The combined landmass of Europe and Asia is called the Eurasia. When we combine Asia with Europe, you will get Eurasia. See here, there is Asia here and right here we have Europe, and the mountains which are dividing Asia from Europe are the Ural Mountains. Another important thing about Asia, that it is in Asia we have the world's tallest mountain, that is Mount Everest in Nepal. And how much taller it is? It is about 8,848. We round it off to 8,850 meters above the sea level. Okay. Now students, let's talk about the second continent, that is we have Europe. Europe lies to the west of Asia, that is Asia here all the time, right? यहाँ पे इस तरफ क्या है? अब Asia है, and to the west of Asia you will find Europe here. Okay, that is here. Now, Europe is much smaller than Asia. The continent lies to the west of Asia. The Arctic Circle passes through it, and it is bound by water bodies on three sides. See here, on the northern side, okay, then western, and then the southern side. Europe is bound by the water bodies. Only one part of Europe is connected to the land, which is the Asian continent. Okay. Now, let us talk about the third continent, which is Africa. Africa is the second largest continent we have after Asia. Okay, the largest continent is Asia, and the second largest we have is Africa. Now, the equator or 0-degree latitude runs almost through the middle of the continent. As you can see here, that all the three important latitudes that we have discussed passes through Africa. You can see there is Tropic of Cancer, Equator, and Tropic of Capricorn. As you can see, a large part of Africa lies in the northern hemisphere. The equator passes through from here. So the large part of Africa is in the northern hemisphere, right? It is the only continent, you should note and underline this, that it is the only continent through which the Tropic of Cancer, Equator, and the Tropic of Capricorn pass. Also in Africa we have the Sahara Desert, which is the largest desert, and the longest river, which is the Nile River. Okay, the continent is bound on all sides by ocean and seas, as we have already seen. The longest river is the Nile, and the largest desert is Sahara. Now students, let us discuss the fourth continent that we have is North America. If you look at the world map, the North America is situated in the western hemisphere in the northern part, okay, above the equator and on the western side of the Greenwich Mean Time. We have North America here. Greenland is also part of North America. Now see, North America is the third largest continent of the world. It is linked to South America. As you can see, here it is South America and it is linked to it. ये जुड़ा हुआ है उससे by a very narrow strip of land called the Isthmus of Panama. I'll tell you what is an isthmus in a minute. The continent lies completely in the northern hemisphere. The entire continent of North America lies in the northern hemisphere and western hemisphere. Three oceans surround this continent. Now, there are three oceans around this continent. Here we have the Pacific, here we have Atlantic, and here we have Arctic. Now, let me tell you what an isthmus is. As I just told you, see, North America and South America are connected to each other by a very narrow strip of land called Isthmus of Panama. An isthmus is a narrow strip of land which is connecting two large land masses, and it is dividing two different water bodies, isthmus, and this particular isthmus is named the Isthmus of Panama. Okay, I hope you understood. Isthmus of Panama connects North America to South America. Okay, North America is mainly divided into three states or three countries. Okay, that is America, the United States of America, correct? Then we have Canada, and then we have Mexico. Student, on page number 32, you have to write your first internal question of the chapter. So please open your book on page number 32 and we'll be writing the first internal question. Okay, I'm reciting it. So make sure that you write the question correctly on top of your page. On page number 32, write the first internal question. Okay, the question is, name the mountain range. Okay, name the mountain range that separates Asia from Europe. Okay, I'm repeating the question again. Name the mountain range that separates Asia from Europe. As you can see, what is the answer? Ural Mountains. Okay, which mountain range separates Asia and Europe? Ural Mountains. And Asia and Europe both combined are called Eurasia. So now students, let's carry on with our topics. That is our next continent, that is South America. We learnt about North America, we have learnt about Asia, Europe, Africa and North America till now. So the next continent is South America. As the name suggests, the South America continent is entirely in the southern hemisphere. Okay, naam mein likha hua hai uske that it is in south and North America is in north. So it should be very easy for you to remember. Now, South America lies mostly in the southern hemisphere, and now it is surrounded by two oceans in the east and the west. Which two oceans? Here we have the Atlantic Ocean and here we have the Pacific Ocean. So there are two oceans around South America. Now here you can see South America more clearly. Now one more interesting thing about South America is this, the mountain range, the Andes mountain range. The Andes is the world's longest mountain range which runs through its length from north to south. As you can see, the Andes is starting right from the top and it is running all the way down till the southern part of South America. Okay, so it is the longest mountain range, and what is the name? Andes mountain range. And another thing that is very important about South America is that it has the world's largest river. There is a difference between the longest river and the largest river. Okay, longest is in length. Longest river है Nile, which flows in Africa. Okay, वो तो length में ज़्यादा बड़ी है. And if we talk about largest, means which river has more water, ज़्यादा पानी किसके पास है? That will be the Amazon. So next time if someone asks you the question, longest or largest, first listen carefully to that question, that what question has been asked. Is it the longest river or the largest river? And then you should answer accordingly. The longest river is the Nile, which flows in Africa, and the largest river is Amazon, which flows in South America. And so student, our sixth continent is Australia. As you can see, Australia is the smallest continent that lies entirely in the southern hemisphere. You can see here is the equator, you can see Asia and Africa here. But here is Australia and it is entirely below the equator. That means it lies in the southern hemisphere. It is surrounded on all sides by the oceans and seas, and you can see all four sides are surrounded by water. It is also called an island continent. Okay, why is Australia called an island continent? Because it is surrounded by water on all four sides. And so students, our last continent, that is Antarctica. This image here which is given, it is a downward view from the globe. Here you can see South America, Africa and Australia, and right in the southern pole, okay, southern pole pe hamare paas which continent do we have? We have Antarctica. Let us read about it. Antarctica lies completely in the southern hemisphere and it is a very huge continent. The South Pole lies almost at the entire of this continent. As it is located in the southern hemisphere, it is permanently covered with thick ice sheets. Since it is in the southern hemisphere on top of the South Pole, it is permanently covered in thick ice. Okay, there are no permanent human settlements. No one lives here. Antarctica is also called no man's land because none of the other countries and continents can lay a claim on it. It is called no man's land. People can go there and live there, but only for research purposes, not for settlement purpose. Okay, many countries have research stations in Antarctica. India also has research stations there. These are named Maitri and Dakshin Gangotri. And now students, on page number 33, write your second internal question of this chapter. Okay, on page number 33, write the question as I am reciting. Name the research stations, okay, name the research stations of India in Antarctica. A very simple question. Name the research stations of India in Antarctica. You have to tell which research stations are there in Antarctica which belongs to India. Okay, as we have just marked, in your book you can also mark Antarctica paragraph, last line it is written in bold, Maitri and Dakshin Gangotri. Okay, here is the answer, Maitri and Dakshin Gangotri. Okay.